Hi everyone, you're welcome to this YouTube channel. I'm Auntie Grace. In this video, I'll be introducing chemistry to you. Now, what comes to mind when you hear the word chemistry? For most people, it's probably someone wearing a lab coat, right? Or probably a lab or something white comes to mind. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into this video. Chemistry is the study of matter, its interactions and reaction between substances, which is this matter, how they interact with one another. Now, it deals with the study of the properties of matter, composition, as well as its reactivity, that is how they react with each other. Now, chemistry relates to everything that can be sensed, from minute elements to complex structure. Everything that can be sensed. Now, it is also a central science because it connects other physical science, which also include applied sciences such as medicine and engineering. So chemistry connects biology, physics, astronomy, nutrition, what have you. Chemistry connects everything. That is known as a central science. Now, in the previous slide, we said matter is anything in this world that takes up space and has mass. And we said chemistry is the study of matter. So, and matter is anything in this world, basically stone, anything you can think of that has space and takes up space, and it also has mass. Now, matters are made up of tiny materials called atoms. And atoms are like the fundamental building blocks of life. Everything in life is made up of what we call atoms. Now, they are also known as a collection of protons and electrons surrounded by they are known as a collection of protons and neutrons surrounded by a cloud of electrons. Now, we'll talk more about this when we talk about the quantum theory. Now, what are molecules? Molecules are two or more atoms joined covalently together. So when we're talking about bringing two or more atoms together, we're talking about molecules. Now, all atoms of an element are similar. What am I saying? I'm talking about when I have two atoms of oxygen, they're actually similar with each other. Now, but all atoms of different elements are different. So when we say the atom of oxygen is actually different from that of hydrogen. Now let's look at compounds. Compounds are formed when we have two or more atoms of an element coming together to form an ionic bond. So elements coming together, we know that elements are made from atoms. Now, when these elements come together, they form what we call compounds. And these compounds, they come together, they combine with each other in a whole number ratio. For example, when we look at water, water has a chemical formula of H2O. That is two atoms of hydrogen combining with one atom of what? Oxygen. So it's forming a ratio of 2:1. Now, if we look at carbon dioxide, which has the chemical composition CO2. Now, we are also looking at one atom of carbon and two atoms of oxygen. The same works with ammonia, NH3. One atom of nitrogen combines with three atoms of hydrogen. So we have a ratio of 1:3. I hope that's very clear. Now let's look at the similarities as well as the differences between what we've talked about so far. So we said atoms are the fundamental building blocks of life. So the tiniest bit, everything is made up of what we call atom. The smallest thing of life is what we call atoms, whereas molecules are two or more atoms coming together. Two or more atoms coming together are what we call molecules. Now I said earlier that when two atoms of the same element come together, they form what they are elements. They are elements. So when two or more elements are bonded together by an ionic attraction or an ionic bond, then we say a compound has been formed. So coming together of two or more elements it forms what we call a compound. So atoms is let's look at their differences now. So differences. Now, what are the differences? We said atoms is the tiniest bit of life. Molecules is when we have two or more atoms. So atom is like the smallest. When we put two or more atoms together, we get what we call a molecule. Then the difference between a molecule and a compound is a molecule is two or more atoms coming together and bonding together with a covalent bond, whereas compounds are two or more elements coming together and they are held together by what we call an ionic bond. So we've come to the end of today's lecture. Thanks for watching. Do well to leave comments, your questions in the comment section, and please subscribe.